Hello and welcome back to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I am your host, Becky Easton. I'm an attorney licensed in Arizona and Colorado, and this podcast aims to bring you just a little bit of legal, business, financial, or otherwise information every day for at least 1 year. We'll see what the future brings once we get there. But I was inspired by a challenge to post one podcast episode every day for a year. And if you're thinking, wow, that seems overwhelming, that would definitely have been my initial reaction. I had been thinking about maybe wanting to do a podcast for a while. I wasn't really sure. Every week just seemed like a lot of preparation, getting putting together the whole show and making sure I had guests, and even a monthly one seemed like a whole lot of work on my end. And so the idea of a daily one somehow stuck out in my head and seemed like a better idea. And here we are. We're coming up, what episode is this? 74, which is very exciting for me. This year, really, I've been working on a bit more routine and having something that I'm doing, every day. My husband and I have been going to the gym every day as well. We get up, go to the gym, get our day started a little bit earlier than we were before. And honestly, just every little bit helps. And especially for me, getting exercise first thing in the morning is just really important for me. And anyway, building in that routine also just helps spill into the rest of my own life, for sure. So anyway, today I want to talk about some of the major mistakes that families make when choosing an estate planning attorney, and how you can make a different and loving choice for your family. So you may have to forgive me for being a little bit blunt in this podcast, but I really just want you to know what it is that I know. And having worked with families like yours, discovered that what you really want is to have a caring professional give it to you straight when it comes to your legal and financial matters. So I want to throw the legalese out the window and give you a simple, unvarnished truth instead. So did you know that many families fly in the dark when it comes to securing the financial future of their loved ones, even when they've worked with a lawyer? It's sad, but true. And far too often, I see families settle for a less than satisfying experience with their lawyer because they think that's all that's available. And here's the great news. It's not. You can expect the same great service from your lawyer as you would from Zappos or Nordstrom's when you know what to look for. And that means you can trust that your family will be in great hands after you no longer are there to care for them. And as a personal family lawyer, it truly breaks my heart when I hear the countless stories of families getting embroiled in legal battles during the most painful times of their lives, or feeling lost with nowhere to turn after the loss of a loved one, simply because they never found a trusted advisor to help them get their affairs in order, or it just wasn't done well or right. Well, here's the great news. You're about to discover how you can get real advice and avoid the costly mistakes made by so many when choosing a lawyer for their family's legal planning needs. So here are the six biggest mistakes that I've seen, and how to make smart choices for your family. So So mistake number one is going it alone with online options or cheap lawyers who provide documents-only service. Now, did you know that many lawyers like to sarcastically joke to one another about how good, in quotes, those online legal programs are for their business? We're talking about LegalZoom, prepaid legal, or etc. And now, why would that be? Well, first, because these cheap online options are not actually as easy to use as claimed. And secondly, they actually cost you an arm and a leg because more than likely you or your loved ones will need to hire a real lawyer to clean up the mess later. You might think these options seem like an inexpensive and safe option, but trust me, they're going to cost your family far more in the long run. And I'm not referring to the money for the service itself. That may be cheap, but consider this. Using programs like this can end up leaving thousands or much more of your assets in the coffers of Uncle Sam or the county court system, even if you follow all of their instructions to a T. And I see it all the time. Frustrated clients bring in online generated plans, astonished at all the hidden savings my staff and I are able to find for them. And not to mention the errors we find by people who think they did everything just right, but still just got stuck in an unfortunate trap for the unwary that you just might not know about. The security you get with these plans is actually a false security, which is even worse. And it's not my intention to scare you, but again, I've seen it more than I'd like. Frustrated families come to see me during a time of great stress, and I'm having to attempt to undo poorly crafted plans crafted by well-intentioned families, or even other lawyers, which ends up costing everybody far more than they'd like. And I'm not just talking about money. The time wasted and the emotional toll is where the real cost often shows up. So I hope you're with me. You agree that choosing a well-trained and caring professional who will put your interests first rather than settling for the false security of legal documents drafted online or with a cheap $399 alternative that's really designed to sell you high commission insurance products is really in the best interests of your loved ones. So with all that, now I'll talk about the issues you deal with in choosing the right estate planning lawyer for your needs. So mistake number 2 is choosing a lawyer who will charge you hourly for your planning or lure you in with a $399 offer. Estate planning should almost never be provided on an hourly basis. Any lawyer who knows his or her stuff is able to quote you a package fee for a comprehensive service. If not, beware, because you may be paying for your lawyer to learn how to do things, or you're going to end up with big expenses down the road when things change in your life, in the law, or in your assets. And really watch out if that package fee, if you're quoted and it's less than a few $1,000s. A lawyer offering plans for $1,000 or less is either cutting corners somewhere, luring you in to sell you something expensive, ugly, and unseen on the back end, or simply will not be able to provide you with the quality service and care your family deserves. There are lawyers out there who have based their business model on churning through as many new clients as possible, undercutting their fees and providing little more than you would get with a do-it-yourself online option. So if you're going to go that route, you might as well consider going online and just doing it yourself. But don't do that. Your family deserves better. When you're investigating flat fee services from a lawyer, here are some simple questions to ask. Are all of your fees flat fees? What about ongoing assistance after the initial completion of my estate planning documents? What happens when I call with legal questions 2 years after my planning documents were completed? What if the questions are about something other than my estate plan? What about my assets? Will you ensure my assets are owned in the right way? Will you keep my plan up to date as my life, the law, and my assets change? And how does that get paid for? You need to be satisfied by the answers you receive to these questions, as they often sneak up after the fact and can be a major drain on your family's cash flow and peace of mind. Mistake number 3 is not ensuring there's a plan in place for regular communication as your life, the law, and your assets change. There are actually multiple problems I've seen here. What happens when things change? Your life is going to change, period. You want to change your mind about who raises your kids, who takes care of your money, who makes financial and healthcare decisions for you. Your kids will grow, and they won't necessarily be exactly as you thought. They will marry and have their own children, and you'll want to change your plan. You'll buy a home, sell a home, start a business, close a business, invest in something new, sell it, enter into a partnership, make a loan to a brother-in-law, etc. Your assets will change. Will your lawyer make sure your assets are titled properly? If not, your plan will fail when your family needs it. You'll retire, age, and need help taking care of yourself. Your kids will worry. Will your lawyer be there to comfort your children and ensure you're cared for in the way you want? And that doesn't even account for changes in the law. The tax code changes just about every year. Many of those changes have a direct impact on your family. Will your lawyer make sure you stay informed about these changes and how they affect you, your family, and your plan? Make sure that your lawyer will keep in touch with you about the changes in the law, welcome your calls for changes in your life, and that they keep in regular communication with you otherwise. Most simply don't. And does this package fee include a regular review of your plan? And if not, then you'll be faced with having to initiate reviews yourself, and maybe having to pay additional fees for the privilege at that. And in fact, the optimum scenario is when a lawyer will provide you with some sort of estate planning maintenance program or membership group for ongoing service, which saves you money and gives you peace of mind over the course of your family's life together. The ideal type of lawyer is someone who has a membership program in place. With a membership program, you pay a small monthly fee, receive ongoing benefits, and have periodic reviews of your plan to make sure that it's up to date and will work when your family needs it. Mistake number 4, only addressing obvious assets and not having a lawyer work with you to pass on your intangible whole family wealth. You and I both know that life is about more than just making money. Think about this. You have to choose between being infinitely wealthy or infinitely healthy. Which do you choose? Health, of course. Or this. Do you have to choose between leaving your child $1 million or the values and insights that are most important to you? Which do you choose? I think we'd all say the values and insights, right? The money's replaceable, but without all the values, the money will be quickly lost. So why is it that most lawyers don't or won't address this very obvious truth? If you've worked with a lawyer, you know that the plans most lawyers create focus entirely on passing financial wealth, when what we all know is most important is the intangible wealth, values, insights, stories, and experience. So why is it that most planning with lawyers doesn't take this into account at all? But too often, the most valuable family assets are lost at death because the intangible assets are left out of the plan completely. And that's why we focus on passing those to the next generation as part of the planning that we do with your family at no extra charge. It's just part of our culture and service. And mistake number 5 is expecting poor service and then receiving it. And it's true. Lawyers have a bad reputation. Phone calls are not returned for days or even weeks on end. Surprise invoices for hundreds or thousands of dollars. And generally being unaccommodating are surely just a few of the complaints I have heard. You deserve better. Look for a lawyer who has a team supporting him or her. A solo lawyer without support cannot help but get overwhelmed and not be able to return phone calls, and a process for answering phones and returning calls. You're going to hold out for a lawyer who will never send you a surprise invoice in the mail and never charge for his or her time hourly or in 6-minute increments. As your prospective lawyer, or ask your prospective lawyer whether he or she has a culture of service and what that looks like in his or her office. If they look at you like you're crazy, leave fast. then mistake number 6 is choosing a lawyer who's not an expert in the kind of service you actually need. Unfortunately, with the way that most estate planning lawyers present themselves to the world, it seems like we're all the same. We all seem to offer up the same services for pretty similar fees. If I weren't working every day in this industry, I'm pretty sure I would think that all lawyers in our industry were the same too. And really, nothing could be further from the truth. You see, each lawyer does have certain qualifications. So some might be experts at tax law, or in working with corporations, or with debt collection, or a whole variety of different things. But they are really providing what you, of the head of your family, wants and needs. What do you want from a lawyer? When I sit down and talk with regular folks, here's what I discover. You want to be able to work with a caring professional who knows you and your family, not one of those cattle call shops where you get squeezed in with a bunch of other people or seen by harried, poorly trained paralegals. Or worse, a corporate shop which can't shake the legalese and can leave you feeling cold by not relating to you as a family with sincere desires. You want a lawyer who understands the unique needs of your family. Have young children at home? Look for a lawyer who has experience in serving the needs of families with young children. They really are quite different. Have elderly parents you're caring for? Look for a lawyer with specific training in serving the needs of the elderly. Have a child with special needs? Your lawyer needs to have training in serving the needs of families with special needs. And whatever you do not get your estate plan prepared by a generalist who does not do estate planning every day, unless they're co-counseling with a lawyer experienced in planning for families. And here's the bottom line. You want the lawyer who can be confident in helping you make good decisions. That's ultimately what it comes down to. You want to feel empowered, informed, and sure about the decisions you're making, and it takes a special kind of lawyer to help you in that way. And that's really the hallmark of the personal family lawyer way. So I hope this has been a little informational for you to help you open your eyes to important lessons about setting up your plans. Some of them may be ones you already knew in your gut, you just had never verbalized them before. But knowing this before you engage an estate planning lawyer will ensure you put into place an estate plan for your family that will really work when your family needs it and won't end up in a pile of worthless paper after you're gone. Yes, choosing the right lawyer is an investment of time and money, and I will add, a wise investment indeed. I say wise because the consequences of a poorly executed plan are awful in the short and long term for the people you love the most. Take action now. If you would like to find a personal family lawyer near you, you can go to personalfamilylawyer.com. Or if you are in Arizona or Colorado and would like to discuss this further with me, you can schedule time on my calendar by calling my office at 480-999-4455. I want to thank you guys for listening in. This has been another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. And just a quick reminder that even though I am talking about legal subjects, this is not legal advice for you. So definitely reach out to another attorney if and when you have questions about your specific scenario. So thanks again for being here today, guys. I hope you check back in tomorrow. I'm your host, Becky Easton. Have a great day.